Welcome to a daily word of encouragement with Celebration Church in Thomasville, Georgia. We believe that the Bible is God's word to all people. We love God, we love each other, and we are changing our world one relationship at a time. We want to help you know and love God's word. Join Pastor Jimmy Bryson each day as we discover how to seek God and live our lives encouraged by His word.
Now, fast forward to where Elijah is now. You ready? You ready? Here's what I want to talk to you about for just really just a few minutes. God told Elijah to do what Elijah did. Okay, the first, years of my life, I would read that story. And one day, the Lord gave me the revelation. It's right there the whole time. As Elijah's praying, Elijah says, let them know I've done all this at your word. So I'm just asking a question. So then, why did he call for Ahab to meet him? Because God told him. Why did he call for the prophets to come meet him at Carmel? Because God told him. Why did he call for the people to come? Because God told him. Why did he say, you offer sacrifice, I'll offer sacrifice? Because God told him. Why did he say, you go first and I'll go last? Because God told him. Why did he say, put 12 barrels of water on the sacrifice? Because God told him to. You listen to me? When he said, let it be known that I've done all this at your word, what he's saying is the only reason I've done this is because you told me to.
All right.
I wasn't just sitting around thinking, this is a great ministry. I'm going to get some brochures printed. I'm going to get my own website. I'm going to go on social media. I'm going to start tweeting. I'm going to Snapchat. In fact, I'm going to Snapchat from the mountain while I'm calling down fire from heaven. No, he did it. It didn't just pop into his head. And here's another place we err. We go out and do stuff for God that might be good and noble. We go out and do stuff for God. Say, God, come on over here, Lord. Come over here and bless what I'm doing. God said, Elijah, here's where I'm working. If you want to get blessed, come over here where I am. So all Elijah did on Mount Carmel was what God told him to do. You ready? Keep writing. Keep writing. When God tells you to do something, you ready for this? First of all, when God tells you to do something, let me put it practical, because we've been saying, if God tells you to go somewhere and do something, then you go where He told you to go, you do what He told you to do, and you stay there doing what God told you to do until He gives you another assignment. You're safe. Go where He told you to go, do what He told you to do until He gives you another assignment. Now, so when God tells you something, you ready? Number one, when God tells you something, He will release unto you His provision. You used to hear the old-time preachers preach it like this: where God guides, God. You know what? They were right. No, they were right. Did God provide for Abraham? Did God provide for Moses? Did God provide for Noah? Yes. So when God tells us to do something, watch this, and we do that something, God will always release His provision. Jot this down. Psalm 37:25. David says, once I'm young, now I'm old, I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. God will release His provision. Okay, so at where did Elijah start out? At the brook. Did God release His provision? Yes. The ravens brought meat twice a day, and the brook supplied the water, but the brook dried up, so Elijah was out of God's will, right? No, he stayed where God told him to stay until God told him to go somewhere else. So he goes to Zarephath, that God releases provision there. So you see that, okay? What about in your life?
Amen.
Has God told you to do something? Has God told you to go somewhere? Did you do it? Did God provide? Did God provide? Yes. Sure enough. I was asking my wife this, trying to verify some facts yesterday, and I said, I talked about this lately, and she goes, not while I was in there. So if I talked about this lately, it's when she was with the children. 1985, I had experienced what they call this call into the ministry. I worked in a paper mill from age 19 to age 25. And it's just 85. Can y'all say 1985? So just for what it's worth, I went back and figured my income would have been in the middle 30s in 1985, which doesn't seem like a whole lot right now, but that's like 30-something years ago. As a young guy with no college education, Vicki you working in the bank? She's working at the other paper mill. She's making she was bankrolling. So we're a young couple, bankrolling, driving only brand new car I ever had, 1985 Ford Bronco, 4-wheel drive, jacked up with the big tires and chrome wheels. I was bad. Wasn't I? Haven't been bad since. Get this call. Okay, long story short, shortly thereafter, Vicki and I both believed that the Lord was telling us to leave our home and move to West Palm Beach, Florida, and for me to enroll in college in West Palm Beach, Florida. Now, how crazy is that? I went to the brook. I'm just telling you, was that crazy, baby? So we load up our belongings, which were few. We moved to West Palm Beach. I did not have a job. She did not have a job. We get to West Palm Beach. Within a week, maybe, I secured my first ministry position, part-time youth pastor in a dead Baptist church with about 4 or 5 kids in it, making $75 a week, $64 a week after taxes. I'm just going to say, low to mid-30s to $75 a week. A week or so, Vicki secured a job. We think it was making less than she made when we moved. So both of us took a significant hit when we moved financially. Y'all ready? When we get there, guess what happened? The brook dried up. And the money dried up. And guess how many meals we missed? Guess how many times we were late on our rent? Guess how many times we were late on our light bill? Guess how many times we ran out of gas? Almost, but none. How did that work? I have no idea. God provided. What I'm saying is, we knew God told us to go there. We knew that distinctly. We went where God told us to be. We did what God told us to do. God released unto us His provision. We moved back to North Florida. 3 or 4 years later, we very distinctly felt like the Lord told us to move to Virginia. We moved to Virginia. So now I'd been, quote unquote, in the ministry for a while. So we went, my financial package was cut a third. We get there, we had a mortgage payment we're paying for in Florida and a rent payment in the new church, and I was going to become a full-time student again and work in the ministry and on and on and on. Later on, we realized this. We qualified for food stamps and didn't know it. No, I don't mean that to be funny. What I'm saying is, we have lived at the poverty level. Your pastor's wife and your pastor have lived at the poverty level. We have been without insurance. Thank God now we have insurance, but we've been there and done that. Guess how many meals we missed? We're paying a mortgage for 3 or 4, a mortgage and a rent payment. Guess how many payments we're late on? It's close, but none. What happened? God released His provision. And then we clearly, distinctly heard Him say, move here. And y'all have heard me tell you this. The first Sunday we go home, and I went, baby, did we just mess up by moving here to this God-forsaken place? That's what I was thinking. Now we love it and we love you, but that first day, she goes, no, Jimmy, we would have never moved if God didn't tell us to. So all I'm saying is just a few examples from my own journey. Every time we have known in our knower that God told us to do something and we did it, He always releases His provision. Because He's the provider.